just the, they want some. Okay, thanks. Good evening, Council. I think this may be the first time I've ever gotten to speak to Council before 7 p.m. So it is a delight to be here at such an early hour. My name is Elizabeth Alexis, and I wear several hats, but tonight I'm here as a member of CARD, Californians Advocating Responsible Rail Design. We advocated for, in the last go-around, to use context-sensitive solutions, which was accepted. I will say that the implementation was really not classic CSS, and that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it again, but there's even more of a need to do it right. I've sent via email earlier, we sent a lengthy update of all sorts of things, but I really want to talk about CSS tonight. In the staff memo, it says that there might not be time to do CSS. There's always time to do CSS if you want your project to get to the finish line, especially when you're dealing with a situation like we have here where there's a lot of complexities, and that in order to make all the pieces fit together, you're probably going to have to change some of the assumptions. CSS is a stakeholder process. It is not a free-for-all stakeholder process. It is not the Palo Alto process. It's a very structured way to get people in the room who need to be in the room talking together. We have this happen during a CEQA process, but we don't talk at the same time. You submit comments, there are various experts who are working on the thing, they reply, then you reply back. This is a way to get everybody in the room. The most important thing that happens, as far as I'm concerned, in a CSS process is that you must upfront define success. Caltrain must define success. What does that mean to them? And it has to be in a way that you can go back and say, is the project successful? High-speed rail needs to define success. What are they actually trying to achieve? And it can't be two trains, like that's not success. It's a transportation goal of some kind. Palo Alto needs to define what success means for Caltrain from our perspective. It can't just be 6 trains an hour. You can have, right now with the blended system, you would have 3 trains every 30 minutes, basically. That's not actually very good service. This, I think, is the best way to get to the finish line. It would allow us to go back and look at the freight assumption, which is what's driving a $500 million price on grade separations. For instance, right now, the assumption is you'd have to be 51 feet under the ground as you cross by Charleston and East Meadow, and that's because you're assuming clearance levels for freight, and then you're tacking on some issues with the creeks. If we want to get to a project that can succeed for all of the different goals, the community goals and all the different transportation goals, we are going to have to do this in a really creative, thoughtful way, and I think we are up for it. Thanks.